There are four kinds of categorical propositions. The first one is what is called the A proposition. All men are mortal. Okay. There's something called the form. There is the form of the proposition. The form of this A proposition, so that's the name of it. So when I say an A proposition, or you hear A proposition, we mean one of these. Okay, it's an A. It has the form all are. Okay, all are. Men immortal is what's known as the matter. Okay, those are the terms that are in the A proposition. So we have all men are mortal. Okay, and so I'm going to put the terms in brackets. Okay, so men and mortal are the terms, and that's what's in brackets. Everything else is the form. The form of the A proposition does not change. So I could change the terms out. I could put the term book right here, and I could put red right here, the term red. But the form would remain the same for an A proposition. Okay, so the second proposition is the E proposition, which is right here. The E proposition says no men are mortal. Okay, so what is the form of the E proposition? That thing which doesn't change, it's no and are. So I'm going to put in brackets again the terms. Remember, the terms can change. So those are the terms. Men and mortal. Now you notice I'm using the same terms for each one of these different propositions. Okay, so the next one is the I proposition. Some men are mortal. So again, I'm going to put the terms in brackets. Okay, this is the I proposition. And then the last one is the O proposition. And what are the terms? Men and mortal. Same thing. I'm going to put them in brackets. Now you'll notice with the O proposition, the form is some are not. And then the form of the I proposition is some are. Okay? So it doesn't matter what I put here. So if I change these terms of the I proposition, and let's say I put books, and then I put red. Okay. This right here is still an I proposition. Okay, it doesn't matter what terms I put inside the brackets. If it has the form some are, then it will be an I proposition. Okay. So what you're gonna do with these four propositions is all of the different kinds of sentences that you encounter in English are capable of being put in one of these four propositions. Okay, so there's a vast amount of sentences. We're not talking about questions and stuff like this. We're talking about declarative sentences. Sentences that state something. Sentences that are propositions, which is the declarative sentence. So we say a lot of different types of sentences or declarative sentences or propositions. All of those sentences that are declarative sentences can be turned into one of these four propositions. So what is the purpose of doing that? Why would you even want to do that? Because we want to expose the quality and the quantity of the sentence, of the proposition, so that we can later test arguments for validity. In other words, we're doing it in order to calculate. Okay, we're going to be calculating and we're going to be testing arguments for validity. But that requires that we have some sort of limit on the type of propositions that we're using, so we can later on apply the rules of validity, Aristotle's rules of validity. But lastly, let me just go over what I mean by quality and quantity. So we see with the A proposition, all men are mortal. We are talking about all men. Okay, so that all men. Okay, we're talking about all. Because I'm talking about all, I'm talking about quantity. All right. Let me just get rid of a few of these. All. Quantity. Quantity is how much. So how much am I talking about here? I'm talking about all. When we are talking about all of something, we are speaking about universality. So the quantity of this proposition we say is universal. Okay? And we also have the quality. Quality just has to do with if something is positive or negative. But instead of using the word positive, we use affirmative. So this sentence right here, this proposition, all men are mortal, it's not negative. You don't see a no in there anywhere. So it is affirmative. So we say the quality of this proposition is affirmative. Okay. So let's switch it to the E statement, or the E proposition. I'm just going to change the form. I'm just going to put no up here. And you'll notice it is now the E proposition. Okay? So what would the quantity be of this E proposition? No men are mortal. Are we talking about all men still? Yes. So it's universal. We're not talking about some men, all. So the quantity would be universal. What would the quality be, negative or affirmative? Well, you have a no right here, so it'd be negative. Negative. Okay. And let's do the I proposition. Now with the I proposition, you have some. That's the form. Some men are mortal. So is the quantity universal or particular? Am I referring to one or a few, or am I referring to all? Some men are mortal. Of course, we're referring to just some, which is particular. What would the quality be? Is it negative or is it affirmative? Okay, there's no non or no in there, so it would be affirmative. So what you would say about the I proposition is that it is particular affirmative. Okay, and then we go to the last one, which is the O proposition, where we have are not. So with the O proposition, what would the quantity be? Some again, right? So it would be particular, would not be universal, it would be particular. And what would the quality be? Is it negative or is it affirmative? See that right there? That's a not. Okay? That means something's getting denied. So it's negative. So we would say about the O proposition that it's a particular negative, and those are the four kinds of categorical propositions.